Welcome to Habit 2 of the 7 Habits of Happiness. This one's health. A healthy brain is a happy brain. Happiness is a brainwave state, a biological state of happy chemicals dancing to the beat of happy impulses. It's a state of beats per minute and cycles per second. We can measure it. It's the rhythm of life. It's a wonderful thing. Let's share brain foods, breathing, binaural beats, and bilateral hilarious exercises. Brain foods then. There are at least 11 recommended brain foods. Fatty fish, coffee, yes, blueberries, turmeric, broccoli, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, nuts, oranges, eggs, and finally green tea. So a bit of that into your diet's going to help you with a happy brain. About breathing and bilateral exercise. Well, of course, we know that the brain is about 2.5% of our body weight, not my body weight, but consumes 25% of the oxygen. This means that getting oxygen to the brain is essential. This is one reason why so many spiritual disciplines emphasize breathing exercises to increase the flow of oxygen, literally to inspire us. Another way to oxygenate the brain, reboot the brain, and to get both sides working together is to invest time in some hilarious bilateral exercises. So you need to be able to see me. Let me show you one of these. Thumb up on one side, little finger out on the other. So on both occasions the fingers are all curled in, but this one with the thumb, all the fingers are curled in. So the thumb there needs to go down like that. And then all you have to do, and I say all you have to do, I've had a lot of practice at this, is swap them over. What we're talking about happening there is, because we're using the right hand side of the body and the left hand side of the body, left hand side of my motor cortex controls this hand, right hand side controls that hand, and so we have to be activating both sides of the motor cortex across the wrinkly bit of the brain, chamois leather. That may look easy. I have had a lot of practice. Have a go yourself, and please laugh at yourself, because it is ridiculously hard to start with. That lights up the full cortex and is a really good thing to do in what I call a FAB, a fluid adjustment break. So if you have a break every 25 minutes, as we talked about in the first session, or every 45 minutes if you're a hard nut, 25 minutes is fine. That's one of the exercises that's good for you. Okay. Any exercise that gets both sides of the brain doing something really wakes up the brain. Imagine an organist. You know, they're doing different patterns with both hands and with their feet as well, and reading it. It's amazing. If you remember patting your head with one hand and rubbing your tummy with the other one at school, that's a good example of bilateral exercise. Okay. We live in a binaural world. I've even got microphones that replicate how the ear hears things. Everything about your mind and body, and thus about your happiness, everything about your happiness consists of energy expressed in rhythms, cycles, frequencies, beats, and flow. Whether it be the flow of electricity down the axon of a neuron, or the flow of lymph through your system, or the flow of blood, or the flow of energy producing food through your gut. I'm fancying the dark chocolate and coffee. It's all rhythm and flow. The most powerful phenomenon I don't like that word. Phenomenon. Excuse me just a minute. Let me introduce you to a little friend of mine.
Hey, did you just try to say phenomenon?
Yes, I did. We'll get him to say it instead. The most powerful phenomenon I've ever heard about is entrainment. The bodily tendency to synchronize with a beat. Why are you New Yorker?
I don't know, it's Sesame Street.
A flickering flame, or the swish of the windscreen wipers on a wet winter night. If you're in the UK, you might know about the biggest car park in the world. It's called the M25. It's dark. The rain is pattering on the roof of the car. There are 1,000 Christmas lights of tail lights going off into the distance, breaking. And before long, you are deeply in trance. That's entrainment. Listening to pumping up music down the gym, getting you into a stronger pace is entrainment. Wonderful examples. So if you think about it, your world around you is giving you signals to go, tune into me, tune into me, tune into me all the time. And you can choose what some of those signals would be. Your sound environment, with or without headphones, will affect how you feel. Surround yourself with serene sounds if you wish to feel serene. Turn up the beats and the volume if you want to work yourself up into a more excited state of happiness. An elevated state, an excited state. Anyone up for euphoria on the dance floor? Oh yeah, I can man dance. Whilst this seems obvious, we now have a lot more evidence about how the scientific side of it works. It's more than just a rhythm. It's your body chemistry, it's your metabolism, it's the electrons flowing through your brain. So our next physical action steps then, if you want to get happy through health, brain health, are quite clear. Eat more brain food. Just to remind you again, it's fatty fish, coffee, blueberries. Many of these are rich in antioxidants, which help you avoid aging too. Turmeric. Turmeric's an interesting one because that's got an anti-inflammatory in it. I do like a bit of turmeric on your potatoes. Broccoli. Broccoli's packed with vitamin K, which is very, very good for your neurons. Pumpkin seeds, it's got copper, iron, magnesium, zinc and antioxidants as well. Good old pumpkin seeds. Get a bit of pumpernickel bread. It's very nice. Dark chocolates have those flavonoids. They have caffeine in to give you a healthy buzz. Nuts are particularly interesting. Walnuts. Walnuts have the omega-3 that you might get from other meat sources. So if you're a vegan, walnuts are very, very good for you. And oranges, of course, vitamin C, giving you that little bit of defence over winter. Eggs, full of very, very good B vitamins. And then green tea has some things called polyphenols that are particularly good for you as well. I am not a nutritionist, but that's one of our action things. So let's have some more of these in our diet. How easy is that? We can eat more brain food, like that. We can breathe more consciously and intentionally. Just becoming aware of our breathing. Bilaterally exercise our bodies. Oh, I got that wrong that time, didn't I? Thumb down. Build our brain power with binaural beats. I might do a special recording for you that will send you off into la la land, because any brainwave state you can record, you can replicate with brainwave entrainment equipment. Of course, you mustn't be doing anything else at the same time, but I can send you off to a very happy place. We might have a go at that, though not today. And Moodscope. Moodscope is the best way I know to monitor that brain health, your mood states. Joining, we know, is free at the light version, and benefiting is forever. So let me finish with a very, very easy and pleasant thing for you to do. A happiness playlist. One of my favourite episodes on television series was Ally McBeal's one where she loses her confidence in court. And her frustration comes with her back to the office, and she takes off one of her shoes. She throws it across the office, and of course it hits the boss. Boom. He looks at her across the office, everybody's watching, and he says, Ally, therapy. Gets out a business card for his therapist, who turns out to be Tracy Ullman, the comedian. And so Ally goes to Tracy's first session, and she's pouring out her heart. And Tracy goes, we're not ready for this. You need a theme song. And Ally goes, what? She said, you need a theme song, Ally. So Ally says, I suppose you've had one I suppose you've got one. And she said, yeah, since childhood. Tracy, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee. Boom, 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 boom. It's a real upbeat, personalised song for Tracy. So she sends Ally off, and Ally comes back with a couple of things. And Ally's a bit sort of wishy-washy at the moment because she's not feeling that great in terms of her happiness quotient. So Tracy Ullman's probably the worst therapist I've ever seen. And she goes, no, that won't do. You need something with some beat like this. Ba, 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 da, da, and sticks her theme song on again. So eventually, Ally comes back with, oh, I know this one. I know something about love. And Tracy goes, yeah, that's good. but it's got to have some pep and oomph with it. So she ups the beat a bit. I know something about love. Do do. This is club style. Do 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 do. Ba-da. And Ali takes that on board somewhat reluctantly and starts playing that song to improve her beats per minute, really, her pulse, her passion. And it's one of the most wonderful bits of television I've seen with someone I can't claim I'm a psychologist, I'm a business psychologist, not a psychologist, but there's this brilliantly constructed moment where she is walking along the sidewalk and she starts playing the song to see if she can get into a positive state. And then the record sounds like it's scratched because it doesn't work for her. And then she has another go at it. And she gets to the crossing, and there's a whole load of them at the crossing. So she starts playing the song in her head. And you know, there are tiny movements you do when you have a song in your head, when you're loving that song. So she's going to do, and the guy next to her is sort of looking at her, and the woman next to him is looking at her, and they start moving as well. And there's another guy that's like, you weirdos. And then when the lights turn to give them permission to cross the road, the whole group of them, apart from the boring person, are dancing along to the imaginary song in Ali's head. And that's entrainment, the rhythm of life that's going through your veins, through your lymph, through your whole body, through your mind. The rhythm of life leaks, and people pick up on those frequencies, those vibrations. It sounds very, very woo-woo, but it's very, very scientific. So I go bouncing up to Tesco Express in the morning and like I'm jacked into the mains. And they actually say to me, and they obviously haven't been on the staff training program, you're not all there, are you? But they love me, most of them, because I come in with some energy. And at the end of the day, people buy your energy. So if you want to have a healthy brain, you're going to have more energy. And we can do that through intentional breathing, the intentional choice of our 11 brain foods, bilateral exercises, binaural beat recordings, and choosing a happiness playlist. And I'm going to finish with this then. A happiness playlist would be a great idea. What tracks would be on your happiness playlist? Do share. Until then, this is Lex McKee, tuning out with a bit of music in my soul, wishing you splendid mental health.